Okay, I'm gonna get started in just a moment with our Facebook Live. Our session today is about New Year's intention settings, so I'm personally really excited about this one. If you are here, feel free to say hello in the comments if you'd like. It's great to know that I'm talking to someone. And tonight's workshop is going to be a little bit different because usually I'm talking about a subject, and today I am going to be workshopping it with you a little bit. So I invite you to take out a pen and paper because I'll be giving you some kind of prompts to think about. But you can really do this however you want. If you're not in a place right now where you can pull out a pen and paper, that's perfectly fine. You can just take some time to consider some of the questions that I'm asking, and then you can always come back to this replay later on and maybe choose to write some things down then, but it's really up to you and what works well for you. So there's a lot of flexibility here. My name's Joanne Doe. I'm a nutrition response testing practitioner here at Natural Healing Center. So if you're on here, if you're one of my clients, hello, or if you're any of our clients, hello. But I am also, if you didn't know, I'm also a certified holistic health coach through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And I also have my 500-hour yoga teacher certification as well. So you're going to get a little more of that aspect of me today as we're going to be talking about setting intentions for the new year, and we'll take a look about like kind of general overall what we want to invite more of, and also what it is that we might be ready to let go, and then we'll break it down into different areas of our lives, so physical health, personal growth, career, relationships, all those we need a good balance of to stay nourished. Because a lot of times if we're just focused too much on one and feeling lacking on the other, we're not going to feel balanced. We're not going to feel as well as we could. So before I get into the intention setting part of things, I want to talk a little bit about the difference between setting intentions versus setting resolutions. So it's a subtle, but it's an important difference. So if you think back to other New Year's priors, and have you ever set a resolution for yourself, and how did that go? Did you end up following through with that resolution, or did you kind of fall off, and why do you think that was so? So one thing to note is that sometimes when it comes to resolutions, it can come from a place of there's something with me or with the situation I'm in or with my lifestyle that needs to be fixed. And so there can be kind of like a negative undertone to like setting that goal. And then it also, there's the potential with setting resolutions that kind of limits us the opportunities in achieving that goal. And it also relies on oftentimes something like external to happen. Whereas the difference with setting an intention, it's more about a mindset. It's more about a way of being, and with that, there's a positive undertone, and there's limitless opportunities. Hi, Sandra. There's limitless opportunities to fulfill that intention or to manifest that intention. And so, and we're more so looking internally when we set that mindset for that resolution, or for for that intention. So let's say, for example, you have a resolution and it's to lose 15 pounds, okay? But what if instead of that you were setting an intention of, I nourish my body through mindful food choices and physical activity that I enjoy? Can you kind of feel like the different vibe between the two? So one is like, I want to lose 15 pounds. It's very like action outcome oriented. It's focusing on like something that for you that is wrong or needs to be fixed. Whereas if you were to approach it from, I choose to nourish my body through mindful food choices and activities I enjoy. It's uplifting you, and you can choose to follow through with that intention using like a multitude of different actions. So just consider that as we move through some of these questions, and ask yourself, is this more of a resolution? Am I trying to fix something, or am I trying to get some like external action done? Or how can I reframe this to be more of a shift in mindset and way of being that I can work on embodying in different ways? So I hope that makes sense, and if you have any questions about it, feel free to ask those in the chat. I am going to get us started with a breathing and visualization technique, and I invite you to, wherever you are, kind of create like a nice quiet space for yourself. So if you're in the home, maybe you just close the door or something like that. If you are driving, I'll ask you to close your eyes, but obviously if you're driving, you don't have to do that, and you don't have to close your eyes if you don't want to. Again, these are all just suggestions, and then you can do what feels right for you and what you're comfortable with. But I find, taking time to breathe, to be present with ourselves, really helps us to feel grounded, to feel focused and connected. So wherever you are, you're going to sit up nice and tall, and you want to align all the vertebrae of the spine. So you want to stack your shoulders over your hips, and then your head right over your like heart space. Okay, and then you're going to place your palms flat down on top of your legs and sit up nice and tall. So as you inhale, let the crown of the head reach up towards the sky. Let your shoulders drop down your back on your exhale. And notice those areas of the body that are making the connection with your seat or with the ground. And really press down into those areas. Feel whatever it is, whether it's your chair or the floor. Feel it support you from below. And now, if it's okay and appropriate for you, go ahead and close your eyes. And we're going to take 3 clearing breaths together. And by that, all I mean is you're going to breathe in through your nose on an inhale. And then as you exhale, you're going to sigh it out through your mouth. And you're going to do 2 more like that. So you'll take a big inhale through your nose. Exhale, let it go. Press all the stale air out. And then take the biggest, fullest breath you've taken in all day. And as you exhale, you're going to fully sigh it out, let it go. And then from here, I invite you to seal the lips and begin to guide your breath in and out only through your nose. So you're inhaling through your nose, and you're exhaling through your nose. And bring your awareness to your heart space, so that area right in the center of your chest. And on the inhale, feel the expansion in that area. And as you exhale, feel the softening. Inhale, feel the rising of the chest. Exhale, you release, you let it go. And so just taking a few moments here to focus on your breath. Allowing yourself to kind of let go of anything that's not happening in this immediate time and space around you. So like any to-dos, any things that happened earlier today, you can let that go. Allow yourself to settle into your body. Connect with your breath. Invite yourself to be present with yourself, with whatever comes up in this next half hour, 45 minutes that we're together. And so New Year's is a really great time for us to be able to reflect on the past year, the highs and the lows, whatever may have happened, and to get clear, focused, grounded on what we want to see ourselves creating for ourselves, how we want to be living in the year ahead. So let's start with reflecting on this past year and for a moment consider what it is that went well for you. What are the highlights? What are you most proud of? And how did that make you feel? And you don't have to think too hard about it. You just allow whatever it is that comes to your mind's eye. Let that be. And then also consider what maybe didn't go so well. So what were the challenges and the struggles? What resentments might you still be holding on to? And just know that with each challenge that we overcome, there is like a golden nugget of wisdom to be gained. And it's incredible to kind of look back at the past year and see how the dots were all connected to get you to where you are right now. That maybe you had to go through some of those hard times, maybe some really good ones too, but it all led you to this place of where you're at now. And so in order for us to create space for what we want to invite in next for this upcoming year, we're going to have to make some room. We're going to have to let some things go. So bring to your awareness anything it is that is no longer serving you, that might be disturbing your peace, that maybe you're ready to make peace with, ready to forgive. Again, you don't have to think too hard about it, but we're going to take a big breath in. And as we exhale, we're going to let go of whatever it is that's no longer serving us. And then reconnect with your heart space for a moment. Feel the rise and fall of the chest. And looking forward to 2023, if you could wave a little magic wand and you didn't have any restrictions, how would you see yourself living? How would you see yourself spending your days and your time? Who are you with? What are you doing? And probably most importantly, how do you feel? And I just want you to take a moment here to kind of bask in that feeling. A few deep breaths in and out through your nose. And then on your next exhale, just let go of any focus, let go of any thoughts. Just allow yourself to be here, breathe. And we'll start coming back into that immediate space around us. So maybe you start to notice any sounds or smells. Maybe you start to blink your eyes open. And take in the sights and colors, sounds, textures. And you're welcome to jot down anything that came up for you. And we'll move into setting our intentions for the new year. So I want you to consider two questions. One being, what is it that you want to create more of in your life? What is it that you want to invite in? And then the second question is, what do you want to let go of? What do you want to release? What's holding you back? What's weighing you down? And so let's start with just the general overall intention for the new year, so the big picture. And again, first question, what do you want to create for yourself in the new year? How do you want to see yourself living, spending your time? How do you want to feel? And you can consider or write down maybe 1, 2, 3 things. Maybe you just write down one word. So whatever comes to mind first, you can always come back to this later after you've given some, time to process, and you can tweak your intentions too. They're not set in stone, they can change. And then consider 1, 2, or 3 things, maybe just a word. What do you want to leave behind in 2022? So when you can let that go, when you can release it, you create space for whatever it is that's like next and wonderful to flow into your life. But you need to make room for it. We all have like an energetic capacity, and in order for us to fit more in, we have to take some stuff out, and especially the stuff that's not really working for us. So you can take a moment to kind of jot down whatever it is that you want. And we're going to break this down into a few different areas next. So the first area that we're going to take a look at is your physical health, right? So what is it that you want to create in your physical health, or in your life when it comes to your physical health, and what do you want to let go of? So physical health, that can cover so many different things. One being nutrition. So how do you want to see yourself nourishing your body in terms of your foods? What is it that maybe you have an addiction to that's not serving you? What are some unhealthy habits in terms of foods that you're ready to let go of? Physical activity would also fall under here with physical health. So physical activity is really just moving your body. So what do you like to do? How do you like to move your body? Do you like to run, dance, go for a hike? Do you like to walk? Do you like to do yoga? What would it feel good for you to do? And is there anything that you want to let go of there in terms of physical activity? Maybe being like too rigid, or maybe letting go of things that you don't really like doing, things like that. Sleep, that's definitely another aspect of physical health. So what would support you in getting more sleep, or allowing yourself permission to take rest? What would be some things you want to let go of? Maybe I'm guilty of this, like scrolling through social media at night, or just like Amazon, surfing the internet. Is that keeping you up, or is that stopping you from getting more sleep? So what do you want to create in terms of your physical health? What do you want to let go of? Physical health is definitely, I think it's kind of a starting point when it comes to wellness. We kind of start with the physical body, at least this is my experience, but we start with the physical body, and we become more mindful of how certain foods affect us, how our sleep affects us, how moving our body gives us energy. And then from that place, we kind of move like inward from there. So the next topic that I want to explore with you guys is relationships. Like, relationships are like so nourishing to us on so many different levels. So they can, number one, be the relationship with ourselves, but they can also be with our friends, our family, our coworkers, our teachers, our mentors, our significant others, our spiritual community. Really, any kind of like interaction you have with anyone. So, what are the relationships that are important to you? What are the ones that you want to foster in 2023? And how do you want to foster those relationships? How often? And you can just kind of get an idea, write down whatever it is that comes to mind. And then on the flip side of that, is there a relationship, maybe one or more, that would be beneficial for your overall health and well-being to take a step back from? And it's just a question. You approach this with curiosity without any kind of judgment. But, we are all growing and changing, and sometimes our relationship needs change, and sometimes they're met, sometimes they're not, and we have to keep evaluating which relationships are, the most beneficial to our peace. So, is it bringing you peace? Is it bringing you joy? Or is it causing you stress? Is it causing you anxiety? And focus on how you want to feel in that relationship. Do you feel the way you want to feel in that relationship? And that can kind of be like a good guide for you in relationships, and like really like any aspect of our lives. Say with work, do we feel the way that we want to feel? And with the way that we eat, do we feel the way that we want to feel? It's a really good kind of question to easily check in with ourselves. All right, and then let's talk next about professional development, career, education. These can all kind of come together. So in terms of like your contribution, how you spend your time at work, what would light you up to do? What would you feel most excited about? And in your ideal life, what would you want to create in terms of your career? Or what would you want to invite in terms of professional development and education for the upcoming year? And then on the flip side of that, what might not be working for you so well that you want to let go of? Are there any projects that you've started that you haven't completed? Do you want to complete them? If so, great. If so, then if not, then maybe it's time to close the book on that one. So you can take a moment to consider that area of your life and what's serving you, what's not serving you, what you want to see more of. And then this last one is personal growth. So this can be so many different avenues, but with personal growth, what helps you feel connected to yourself and to expressing yourself, like who you really are, and what brings you meaning and purpose, what connects you with like others and something bigger than yourself. So what's going to push you to grow in this next year? And you can also, all these kind of intertwine with each other, but you can also think like, what support would you need? Whether that is like a certain group that you want to join, or like mentors. I think when it comes to personal growth, I've been really lucky to find like really great mentors who are able to provide guidance on like certain specific topics, areas of my life. So I think that's definitely an important aspect of personal growth, but also an important aspect of relationships. And is there anything that you want to let go of here? Anything that feels like constraining to you? That's another way to kind of gauge and evaluate your satisfaction in a certain area. Like, do you feel light? Do you feel expansive? Or do you feel constricted by it, limited? Okay, so last question for you. If you could choose one word to describe either how you want to feel or what you want to create in 2023, what would your word be? And maybe you take a little bit of time to consider that. And again, you can always um, decide on it later. You don't have to think about it right away. So now that you have kind of a frame of what your intentions are for the year ahead, a couple things that you want to keep in mind is you want to keep checking in with yourself regularly. So, it's not like we set these intentions and then it's just like one and done, but it's a practice. And we have to ask ourselves continually, like, are our thoughts, are our words, are our actions, are they aligning with the intentions that we're setting and how we want to see ourselves living? And maybe you make a reminder, whether it's weekly or monthly, to see how that's going for you. But regular check ins can make it manifesting your intentions a lot more positive. And then also know that things are going to ebb and flow. So sometimes we're going to be on it and we're going to be doing all the things that we intended to do. And there's going to be other times where something happens and it's a little bit more challenging to do that. So we can expect that things are going to ebb and flow, and if we have setbacks, that's just part of the process. And it's more so about continuing with the journey and what we set out to do. And we want to be gentle on ourselves throughout that process too. No judgment. Um, Keep your words kind. And I think what you want to work towards, or my suggestion would be, is like consistency. So what do you do most of the time, as opposed to like the one day that things went awry or something like that. And so I hope this session has given you some points to consider in reflecting in the past year, and being able to set clear intentions for the year ahead, entering into the new year really like present, grounded, focused. And my best wishes for you in 2023. May you be safe, may you be happy, healthy, may you be free to be exactly who it is that you want to be. There's only one of us. We're each of our own unique expression. So it's really important that you are here and that you are exactly who you are. And I will be back next week for another Facebook Live. I hope you have a really happy and healthy new year, and I look forward to connecting with you in 2023. As always, any comments that you have, any questions, you can leave those in the chat. But I want to thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Thanks again.